Big Brother's Big Archive with your hosts Joseph Tilley, Karl Bainbridge and Paul Barron. This week's episode, yes means no.
And after all that introduction, Paul managed to get the title wrong.
Oh wait a minute. No means yes.
Yes, we got there in the end, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for joining us and welcome once again to Big Brother's Big Archive. As Paul mentioned, my name is Karl Bainbridge. Paul Barron here joining us here in Kirk Merrington, and Joseph Tilley joining us over in Middlesbrough. Joe, thank you very much for joining us and hopefully no connection problems this week.
Yeah, you should get that rash looked at because of your face.
Yes, Joe at the moment through his Skype networks showing us a picture of Pete Burns to try and wind up Paul. You're a very immature man, Joe.
Mind you, I'm going to host the things that'll probably end up either losing our audience or gaining a lot of audience.
Well, we've already lost most of our audience from the first show, Paul.
Yeah, not really. We've actually done pretty well. Thank you very much, everybody.
Yes, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for getting us nearly 200 views for our last episode, Hydra Epilators. And I hope that we can entertain you once again when we discuss our latest series.
And for the love of God, just send us a question.
Yes, unfortunately we didn't get any questions this time. We had quite a few people who wanted us to ask questions about Big Brother 13. This week, unfortunately though, not many people, in fact nobody, has asked us about Big Brother, about the series which we're discussing, Celebrity Big Brother 9.
Aye.
Now, before I do want to begin, lads, at the time of recording this, ladies and gentlemen, the launch night of Celebrity Big Brother 11 took place, and I'm sure that you two both watched it.
Unfortunately, I did not.
Why didn't you?
Well, you've got what looks like you've got Razor, who looks like a more deranged version of Brian Blessed. Spidey, or as I like to call him, Dim and Very Much Dim, and a jockey.
Yes, not the best lineup, is it? Did you watch the launch night, Joe?
No, I was ill and couldn't be bothered to turn the telly on, so I was relying on you to help me.
Well, we won't be discussing that series, thankfully, and I have to admit, launch night wasn't the best. So it's sort of quite thankful then that we, instead of discussing that, we are actually discussing what many people consider to be the greatest celebrity series of them all, which is Celebrity Big Brother 9.
Hooray!
Would you agree with that, Joe? Why would you say CBB9 ranks for you?
It was good because it was a good mix of celebrities. It was people we knew, people we didn't know, good guys, bad guys, and it was just a good mix.
Well, we'll be certainly.
It's sort of like, you know, the good, the bad, and the Michael Madsen.
Are you trying to imply Michael Madsen's ugly?
No, but them twins are.
I think they're quite bunny girls.
Right, there's two logical reasons probably why you would say that those two are ugly. One, you're insane. Two, you're gay.
Well, you know, one of them's true.
Okay, moving on.
Yes, moving on. Now, I actually have to be very thankful for Celebrity Big Brother 9 on the whole. Firstly, for it being a good series, but also because I think there were a lot of people who, after the first two Channel 5 series were quite poor on the whole, CBB9 and Big Brother 12, weren't very well rated. And I think there were a lot of people who went into CBB9 thinking to themselves, if this one's no good, I think I might give up on the franchise. And thankfully for Channel 5, they pulled out an absolute corker of a series.
Yes, even though most of their corporate is basically run by a bunch of chimpanzees with neckties.
We can say what we want about the Channel 5 corporate side of things. Personally, I'm not the biggest fan of them. but I do think they did do something really well this series. Maybe by accident. I think there were maybe some parts of the show which I don't think Channel 5 were expecting to be as prominent. I think the Carissa and Christina, for example, will come to them. Certainly delivered more than what the expectations were of them by production.
Yeah.
But the first thing I want to talk about is launch night, and something that Joe mentioned earlier, our cast. Now, Paul, I'll put this to you. What was your view of that cast come launch night?
Well, it's a gaggle of celebrity misfits. I mean, you've got Frankie
Kokoza.
Yeah, Frankie Kokoza, as I will now refrain to him in this podcast as Pillhead. You've got Gareth, a legendary rugby player who turned out to be gay, which is a very hard step in the line that you are. And you've got basically got Quentin Tarantino's most awesome person in the world, which is basically Michael motherfucking Madsen.
Yes. Do you think this cast was on the whole a higher star power or a poorer star power than what CBB9 was?
It's sort of got its highs and its lows. I mean, you do have a mix. Like I said, misfit bunch. As in other words, they don't go on, but they're basically, they're gonna be good. Sort of feel to them, and it has.
Now, Joe, what's your view on when it comes to star power for a celebrity series? Are you one of these people who thinks themselves getting the bigger, more popular names instantly makes the series better, or are you one of those people who sort of thinks because they're less famous, they're more willing to be dramatic and try something to try and further the career?
Yeah, I think the latter is the one for me, because you get big stars and then they make it good, but it's the underdogs, the little stars, make it even better. Like Denise Welch, she was brilliant.
I would say Denise was one of the bigger star names of CBB9. I think really the breakout characters were Carissa and Christina. I think they were. We're going to have a real discussion about this. Joe's certainly not a fan of the twins. I'm going to have to stick up for them big time.
Yes, and I shall be standing in the midst with the referee shirt on while you two fight it out for my enjoyment.
Yes, this is going to be a slugfest which people are going to enjoy online.
Bring me my line!
Interesting fact for you, Karl.
Yes?
Last Big Brother was sponsored by Freedom, wasn't it? The Spot.
Yes, the Spot cream.
They pulled out for Big Brother 9 because Michael Madsen had a string of straight-to-DVD movies which they didn't like, so they pulled out their sponsorship.
Oh, come on! Seriously?
Sorry.
Are you bullshitting? Right, oh my god.
You don't think it had anything to do with the fact that the previous two series were poor?
No.
That does seem like quite a convenient excuse.
Yes, I could just imagine the sales rep going out to Michael Madsen. No, not Michael Madsen, because he's awesome. Oh, but still, I could just imagine the Spot Cream Company rep coming up to the guy at
Channel 5.
At Channel 5, excuse me, are you the head of Channel 5? Yes. And we've got something bad to tell you. Yes.
Why is it really surprised?
Are you actually well? I've never been better.
You do realise you're pretty much killing any of our 3 chances of ever getting on Big Brother.
Well, tell you the truth, I might get a voice acting job. So yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever had any luck trying to take your impressions on tour yet?
No.
But
still, I'm going to say this now. We're gonna have to pull the sponsor. Why? Because Michael Madsen did a series of shit movies. But we don't have anything to do with him.
Do you know what's worse?
Tough titty.
Yes, what's worse, Joe?
That even after Big Brother, he's still doing shitty films.
He
like
is.
Justin Bieber films and.
Oh no, he was.
Oh my god!
He's been
Michael, why?
Poor Michael Madsen. That just shows the harpoons of fame, doesn't it?
The harpoons of fame, more like. Shooting them from the bowels of hell, manned by Mr. Beaver himself. Baby, no!
Don't worry, Paul. 20, 30 years time when Justin Bieber's on Celebrity Big Brother 41, we can take the mick out of him then.
Yay!
And to make sure that's gonna happen, you're gonna take a picture. We're gonna use it on the YouTube with the words "Ha ha Justin Bieber" and me just going like this.
That's Paul pointing directly at the screen, just for the record. Yes, can we please, let's get back to discussing Celebrity Big Brother 9.
Yes, let us get back.
So, we have our Mad Clap selection of 12 very diverse personalities, and a group which, on the whole, I think, apart from maybe Romeo, which we'll discuss later, I think everybody in that group seemed to deliver a lot to the series, and I think that's a good sign when you have a group which contributes so much both as separate entities and as a whole group. I think when you have a team like that, which is so diverse and brings so much to the show on their own, that's certainly the best thing. But in that first few couple of days, the main character that seemed to stand out from the crowd in those early stages was one of the lesser names, Andrew Stone.
Oh.
Yeah, unfortunately Joe's not the biggest fan. But Andrew Stone was certainly the one to instigate a large amount of the drama. I wouldn't say controversy, but definitely he was there to provide the early entertainment. Now, what was your view on the whole, Paul, of Andrew Stone?
Andrew Stone. Please iterate on who.
Andrew Stone was our Pineapple Dance Studios ex-dancer. Basically, they they got him because they couldn't get Louis Spence.
That would have been good.
Channel 5, you are horrible people. I think I've seen bits of him here and there.
I think Andrew. I know Joe's not the biggest lover of him, but personally, I think Andrew was. I just found Andrew quite harmless. He was a nice guy. He was just trying to be fun.
Yeah, he did seem.
Person ever.
He did seem timid.
Timid's the last word I'd use to describe Andrew.
Hey, at least it ain't fucking Louis Spence. I mean, to tell you the truth. Yeah. That bugger will be dancing and straining and voguing and all that shit.
There was a lot of that from Andrew though.
So basically, knock off then.
You called him fake there, Joe.
Yes, I did. He is just so fake and so he's trying too hard to be a celebrity. He's not even a celebrity really. I just think he's one of them not celebrity Z-list.
But do you think that that's maybe a good thing for a show like that? You were mentioning before that the lesser personalities are the ones that try harder to bring entertainment. You could argue that Andrew was doing that, and
he tried too hard.
It was still entertaining though, in my eyes.
It's like he was alright in that. In Pineapple Dance, he was really, really fake. It's contrived, you know.
I liked Andrew in Pineapple Dance Studios. I can sort of see where you're coming from, but I just think in a show like this, where the aim is to bring entertainment to the audience, I could sort of justify Andrew's behaviour, as it were. Do you know what Andrew was for me? He was Shabazz, but without the uncomfortableness of watching him.
Basically you're talking about, sandpaper pants.
No, what I'm trying to imply was that Shabazz was one of those characters who provided the early entertainment, ruffled a couple of feathers, yeah. Ruffled a couple of feathers,
right?
Got people on his bad side, sort of became this, I wouldn't say villain character, but an character to oppose very early on in the show.
So instead of sandpaper pants, let's go with a very uncomfortable pair of pants.
Yeah, but rather than what Shabazz did, which was push this over the topness so far that you became uncomfortable watching him, Andrew just sort of levelled on that line before it got too bad.
Fair enough.
I know Joe's showing us a picture of what looks like Pete Burns.
With his balls hanging out.
Why have you got a picture of that?
Joe! God damn it!
We're supposed to be professionals.
The one
Yes.
Google.
We're not going on Google.
Please.
We're not going anywhere near
No.
those.
No.
That's some Rule 35 shit right there.
Yes, I don't know what to say about that.
Moving on.
Oh,
Yes,
moving on.
please, let's move on.
Right, and you switch your phone off right now.
Yes, Joe. We're trying to take this seriously here. But yes, Andrew was somebody. I just found Andrew harmless entertainment. I can understand why some people found him annoying, but I think for those early stages, when you need a character to just try and kick things off, someone like an Andrew Stone, someone like a Shabazz, someone like a Jasmine Leonard, I think Andrew provided us with that.
Sort of the flamboyancy of it all then.
Well, yeah, just someone. Arguably, he's one of the best examples of a disposable early boot ever. Just somebody just there to kick things off, get rid of early, and then with all that momentum he built, carry on and make a great series, which you can't deny Celebrity Big Brother 9 was.
Like a streaker.
I wouldn't say a streaker. I love how in your strange head you try and find these loose comparisons to everything.
Hey, to tell you the truth, if a streaker comes on there, they get riled up for it.
They would, yes, but I wouldn't like to say it.
No, unless of course it's a hot one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Shell Naked Lawnmower.
Anywho, continue on.
Yes, anyway, let's continue on. Now there were a lot of aspects of those early days between the first eviction and those first 4 days. Now, one of the things that people might forget is Geordie Marsh's surprise comeback into the celebrity house. Yes, he did a bodybuilding task, which had Geordie as a guest judge. Now, of all those contestants, celebrity contestants, normal contestants that appeared in the show, in these guest slots, Geordie's probably the one that I was most surprised to see come back. Because if you remember Celebrity Big Brother 4, she got treated terribly. And I was surprised that she was willing to go back and give the show that gave us so much grief another try. What was your view on Geordie's appearance in the show, Joe?
I think she was good. I really enjoyed her comeback. It was that task was just a bit of fun, wasn't it? Really, they all had a good laugh with it. So.
Oh, they did. All browned up and all like bronzed up.
Yeah,
So basically, they cast a Jersey Shore then.
Yes, the Jersey Shore.
So it was nice for her to come back and do a nice task, you know.
Yeah, it was a nice task, and it was a good way for Geordie to sort of redeem herself. But the thing about Geordie Marsh was she looked happy as well. And I know that, and I could imagine a lot of people wanting to give her grief because she's now in an unusual career
Of bodybuilding.
Yes, but she seemed to enjoy herself. She seemed happy, and that was good to know. And again, another
Still looks
example.
hot. Still looks hot. I would hit that.
Yeah,
I would hit
and
that.
once again, another example of a good early task just to kick things off. Good icebreaker tasks, and tasks with Channel 5 I think did very well with this year.
Yeah, I can understand that Channel 5 gets better with the tasks, but sometimes they do feck up royally.
They do, and we just talked about this with the Celebrity Big Brother 11 launch night. Very bad planning, and that's another example. We'll get to that when we cover Celebrity Big Brother 11, which will probably either be our next podcast or the one after.
Let's go with let's see what happens with these guys. Then we'll start on a podcast.
Yes, it's heavily reliant on when we get our next podcast done. If it's before the series ends, we'll probably be doing We'll probably be doing Big Brother 12 first, and then CBB 11. Now, one task which did happen on Celebrity Big Brother 9, which is the fairy tale task, which I want to talk about, the first real big shopping task, where housemates had to take the role of various fairy tale characters. Very good. So we had Prince Charming, Frankie Kirk and Romeo as the 3 little pigs, Georgia as Rapunzel, Michael Madsen as Geppetto with Pinocchio.
That's gonna be hilarious.
That was very hilarious.
So someday I will have my son.
And I will kill in the sunrise
Son!
One of those big moments which people might remember, if anyone remembers, Denise was the Three Bears, and Carissa and Christina was Carissa and Christina of the twins, was Goldilocks. So we had the Goldilocks and the Three Bears task, where Carissa had to try 3 different types of porridge. Too hot, too cold, just right. Of course, what did Big Brother do? Very funny moment. What was wrong with the porridge that was just right? It tasted a bit pissy. It was cow urine.
Yeah.
What?
Oh God.
They're going full-blown Takeshi's Castle on that.
Full on Takeshi's Castle. Cow urine.
Right? This one's too hot. This one's too cold. Oh dear God, what the fuck did you just put in there?
The great thing was Carissa actually enjoyed it until she realised what it was.
What is this? Cow piss.
Very funny moment though, and actually, considering the whole situation which we discuss later when it comes with Pansgate, it was quite strange to see the twins and Denise in such support of one another during that task. I find that quite ironic that they ended up turning on each other so much, yet were really working in cohesion with one another during that task.
Why, when you say that, it just reminds me of that opening scene from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate... No.
Charlie and Chocolate Factory.
That's the one, the Tim Burton one.
Yes.
The 2 girls say, "Let's be friends, best friends." And then, you know...
Well, they did get on well then, but just Pansgate completely obliterated that good feeling between the two.
Yeah.
Which we'll discuss later. Now, one thing I sort of didn't like about the fairy tale task, and some people might not remember this, was production really went all out with this fairy tale theme of the episode. And rather than doing the narration and the editing in a traditional, normal way, one of the things the production tried to do was set it in this fairy tale manner. So rather than having Marcus doing traditional narration over the top of a cliffs, what we had was Marcus reading from a big fairy tale style book, sort of saying things like, "Once upon a time we had 12 housemates living in a house together. This morning," and doing it in that sort of very fairy tale manner. Now,
Jack and Ori sort of.
Yes, Jack and Ori, good example of that. Was I the only one who just thought that was a little bit too much for me? I sort of enjoy it when production gets into the spirit of the tasks, like with the boot camp task in Big Brother 5, when they started calling Big Brother Big Brigadier. That sort of touch, that was okay. I just sort of felt maybe the Marcus narration stuff and this sort of fairy tale editing, maybe a bit too much. Where did you stand on that, Joe?
It was just a bit of fun again. It's just like a bit of fun, just makes it a bit more like light-hearted.
Do you think it just came across as a bit too silly?
A little bit, but it was just for fun, you know. So it's like it wasn't bad. So yeah.
And what
I was hoping with the fairy tale task, you know, when you said it was getting far too silly, that was a little task within a task, taskception.
Oh.
But you know, if they say this is getting far too silly, a general would come out and, you know, say, far too silly, let's stop this right now, far too silly, like, you know, Monty Python sort of.
Yes.
But, you know, it would not happen.
No, it wouldn't happen, no. But one thing that the fairy tale task did give us, and started keeping with the theme of the fairy tale, was seen in the next eviction. In the first nominations, if we remember, Andrew, Quell Supri, and Georgia were our first 2 nominees. And unfortunately, Andrew ended up getting evicted between the 2. Now, is this another example, though, of, I mentioned this before in the first 2 evictions, one-on-one vote to saves not working to the fullest? Because we had Andrew Stone, who was definitely a much bigger character than Georgia, being evicted because people voted to save Georgia just to get Andrew out of the house.
It does feel like, you know, this was a bit of a, well, can I swear on this?
Yes.
A bit of a fuck up because of, because of the issue with the vote, the vote to save and vote to.
But what I don't understand is if Channel 5 can realise that there's a problem when it comes to one-on-one evictions, why don't they just make it so that it's a minimum of 3 up? That way you give the bigger characters, the Andrew Stones, more chance to...
Famous beverage!
Thank you! Yes, our mum's just come in with pizza.
Your mum.
Yes.
That's mine.
We'll get you some later, Joe. But what they should do is they should just have 3 people up each week, and it gives the bigger characters, like Andrew, more chance of staying in an eviction scenario.
Here's the problem. They're basically going to treat this like 4Kids, which is basically they take really good anime, right, such as One Piece and Naruto, and basically take their trousers down and shit upon them. Because they won't listen to anyone else but their bloated corporate selves. And if you are listening, I support every single word of that, you bastards.
And thank you very much for once again ruining our chances of ever getting on Big Brother.
Not the Big Brother thing. I like Big Brother. I would love it if I was on Big Brother. It's just the fact that I really need to get something on with the 4Kids thing, and it does seem like a very good way of expressing that. The point is, they will not listen. They will just keep on going with it.
And breathe.
Thank you.
Yes. You were saying there, George, just before Paul interrupted you?
About them. Andrew Stone is rubbish, and he deserves to be evicted. End of.
We'll agree to disagree about that.
Mm.
But personally, I thought he was a bigger character than Georgia, and I just want the bigger characters to stay personally. But keeping in with the fairy tale theme of that week, one thing I did like was how Andrew, in his eviction, rather than being taken to the eviction studio on foot off in the golf cart like they usually do, they went full out with the fairy tale task and had him arrive in a horse and carriage, which I thought was a good touch.
That was brilliant. I loved that.
That was a good touch. I definitely like that.
If the carriage is made out of orange and they had big massive Jaffa cakes as wheels, that would be brilliant.
I think it was shaped like a pumpkin, the whole Cinderella thing.
Oh, in that case,
Yes.
Ho! Whoa, Nelly! Nay!
I wonder what goes on in your head sometimes.
I see a lot of Marcus on that horse and carriage, It's just basically a big massive Marcus head with a Marcus horseman, then, a Marcus horse. Clippity clop, clippity clop, clippity clop. Whoa! Nay! Rinpet, we're here!
Repet.
And he just comes out with a dress or something like that.
I like that. That's a good touch. Maybe Marcus Bentley's mine, Paul. But one thing that George is staying did give us, and we'll discuss this in more detail. I was planning to discuss this later, but we'll discuss this now since we're talking about Georgia. One of the big things Georgia had going for her in those early stages was this attempted showmance that Kirk Norcross, our Towie friend Kirk Norcross, was trying to instigate with her. Now, what was your view on the whole Kirk and Georgia thing? Joe? Joe?
Me?
Yes.
I just think it was really John James and Josie. It was a showmance. It's not real, is it, really?
Yeah.
It's doing it for votes.
In Kirk's case, I think certainly he did.
Yeah, because quite frankly, you're from a show that basically boosts the economy of Britain by using sparkly shit to put on your muff.
Yes, thanks to Towie, Essex is now the New Jersey of Britain.
Yes, and guess what I would love to do to that place?
Yes, you've already talked about this with your venomous dislike of Mike the Situation on the Celebrity Big Brother 10 podcast.
And yet, I would watch that instead of Towie.
Yes, but so you might be one of the best judges then to discuss your view on the whole Kirk and Georgia thing.
I would just like to say one thing.
Which is?
That if you come from anywhere from the only way is Essex, you are basically nothing more than a cardboard cutout that can walk, breathe and eat.
Yeah, it's certainly not one of my favourite shows. Now, my personal view on the whole Kirk and Georgia thing was that I just got this feeling. Now, I think that these sort of unreciprocated love tasks can work. I think that when Shree and Noreen did it in Big Brother 10, that was fantastic. But it only worked because you had two personalities in there, which helped to make it work. Because you had Shree, who was so desperate and so deluded on how much of a romanticizer he was, and Noreen for being this snarky goddess of a figure, that it managed to work in this unreciprocated love. The problem with the Kirk and Georgia thing, in comparison, was that Kirk came across as far too sleazy to ever be rootable in this sort of role. And Georgia just wasn't interesting enough. Unfortunately, I do like Georgia as a girl, nice person, but I think for that sort of storyline she was the wrong pick. And I think that's the reason why the whole Kirk and Georgia thing never really clicked with the public.
Yeah, because, to tell you the truth, A, you're going with someone from Towie again, because A, Channel 5 thinks, oh, let's put them on because they got more views than Big Brother last time, so we'll put some characters from there. And B, just, it wouldn't work.
But as you mentioned though, Shree and Noreen did make that sort of storyline work.
Yeah.
But Kirk and Georgia didn't.
Kirk's an idiot. I'm going to say it now. Kirk's a fucking moron.
We'll discuss Kirk Norcross in a lot more detail. I'm not the biggest Kirk Norcross fan, and I'll explain in more detail why. But
if he's the one who comes onto the TV screen during an ITV promotion of that show, I would probably like to quote something from Russell Howard's Good News. Shut up. Fuck off! Thank you.
And breathe. Yes. But one other aspect that George had a real important part of, between the first and second evictions, was that she was the one who helped to dictate who was going to be evicted next. She was called to the diary room shortly after an eviction, congratulated, and then told you have to choose two more to go out in a couple of days' time. And she chose Natasha and Nicola. Now, Joe, I want your opinion on this. What was your view on George's nomination choices? Do you think she made the right choices? Is there anyone you disagreed with?
I think I agree with the choices because basically they just sat around and did nothing.
Who did she choose?
She chose Natasha Giggs, the traditional tabloid flavour of the month contestant they put on.
Basically the one that shows her tits every 5 seconds.
Yes, and someone else who also does that for a living, Nicola McLean. Yes. So, if anyone cares, Georgia hates glamour models.
Good.
Yeah, I think I can gather that.
Yeah, and you wonder why women always seem to go out on a show like this. Women should stick together on a show like this because you know what the public are like. If the woman's going to be up, you're going to be out. Instead, women nominate other women. That doesn't. And you wonder why the series are always so male dominated come the end game. It's because the women always seem to turn on one another.
Unless of course you're Lady Sovereign, which in other words, damn. Girl got geek. Girl got geek.
I think she was good.
Oh, Sov was good. We'll discuss Sov when we get to Celebrity Big Brother 7.
Alright.
But Natasha and Nicola went up. Now, this was a very closely fought eviction. People weren't sure where this was going to go. And if anyone remembers, the bookies were sort of favouring Nicola based on what they saw on the show. Nicola was certainly more outspoken, quite bitchy. Natasha was sort of quite restrained. Certainly what people weren't expecting from her. People were expecting her to share the sex secrets with Ryan Giggs and Ryan Giggs' brother. And that sort of didn't really happen. But despite that, despite Natasha being the quieter character, and this supposed vote to evict scenario supposedly favouring Natasha in this situation, she was the one to go. And I want your opinions on why you think this was. Do you think that Natasha just simply couldn't escape the label of being this tabloid sex fiend?
Well, I just figured out why Channel 5 bought, Celebrity Big Brother and Big Brother in general.
Yeah.
It's basically to farm tabloid news. Have you noticed every time that something is said in that house, it goes straight onto the tabloids?
Yes.
About a day after.
Well, who runs Channel 5? Channel 5 was a tabloid media mogul. So yes, Channel 5, Big Brother is there to fund Richard Desmond's new storylines for yesterday.
Let's not call Richard Desmond by his real name anymore, because quite frankly, he doesn't deserve to actually be called Richard Desmond. Let's just call him a really, really bad man.
No.
Aww.
But I'll put that to you then, Joe. Did Natasha simply have no chance? Was she in a lose-lose situation going on the show? Simply because she was always going to be judged based on what she did on the outside?
Yep.
Well, a lot of people have that lose-lose situation because of what they've done on the outside. I mean, Denise, she married a very famous comedian, divorced him.
That was after the series, though.
Alright, but Nicola, she was obviously a pretty sweet girl. That's going to come back for her. Natasha the same, but yeah, so it wasn't just her that was the victim of that. So I don't think that's right.
And that sort of brings me on to another question which I want to bring up in general, which is, considering the status of like celebrity and our celebrity culture in this country, how important is what happens in the show in determining how you're perceived by the public? Because basically we have a situation now where you could be the nicest person in the world in that house, but if you're a bad person on the outside, it's not going to matter squat.
Please say, can I say Jimmy Savile?
No, you can't say Jimmy Savile. I don't want Jimmy Savile mentioned on this podcast.
Too late.
Jimmy Savile.
Please just stop.
Okay,
please.
anywho,
Go, Karl, sit on me lap. Ooh.
Oh, that's terrible.
But putting it on.
I'm getting creeped out here. Please stop with the Jimmy Savile.
Okay. We'll stop with the Jimmy Savile. All right, but.
Unfortunately, we're going to have to bring him up when we get to Celebrity Big Brother 4, so I don't want to talk anymore about it.
Break out the masks. Break out the masks.
I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight with all that, don't you?
Right, excuse me, but to tell you the truth, yeah, because with what Big Brother tries to do, right, is not just keep the cameras on you once every while.
Yeah.
Is basically keep the cameras on you 24/7 every day for the rest of the next period of the day.
Oh, definitely. I can't deny that.
So basically, try to get you at your vulnerabilist, which is absolute gold for the celebrity paparazzi.
Yes, I'll certainly give you that, and I think that's one of the aspects of Celebrity Big Brother which I think is maybe more appealing than the civilian version. But I don't.
And also the fact that people are fucking stupid and they love celebrities.
I don't know about you, but I always think, regardless of what I thought of these people on the outside prior to the show, I always judge them on a clean slate and say I'm going to give them a chance and judge them solely as characters on a television show.
5 days later, oh my god, they're the worst human beings I'll ever know.
But yes, I always give them a chance beforehand, and it just doesn't seem that other people, the casual audience, seems to. And I think we saw that with Natasha's eviction.
You mean Natasha?
Natasha Giggs, yes.
Oh, the wife of the footballer.
Yes, the wife of the footballer. Yes.
The Welsh boy. Ah.
Yes.
Right,
I thought you watched the series.
I didn't watch them all, just the keen characters. But yeah, I would probably understand that because it takes away the main source of what I would like to call the shit hitting the fan with the tabloids, and also the fact that
Keep talking, Paul.
and also the fact of it's basic. She wasn't actually that much of a keen sort of character as well.
And arguably she didn't deserve a place because she wasn't a big enough star.
Exactly.
Yes, I can sort of see where you come from with that. But one thing I sort of liked about Natasha was that one of the themes of Brian Dowling's questions during her interview was, do you regret what you did with Ryan? Do you regret what your behaviour was?
See?
And I enjoyed Natasha's quite frank response and just saying, to be honest, no. Because if I hadn't done that, I wouldn't have been on the show. And I think that's a good reaction to have, in my opinion.
Yeah. And if I ever go on to Big Brother, I'm going to say this.
Because she was there to try and redeem herself, and she just said, look, I can't. And I'm on the show because of what I did.
and if I ever get on that show, I'm gonna say Richard Mogul's a butt plug, all the way through.
Who's Richard Mogul?
The main guy of Channel 5.
Richard Desmond.
Fuck.
And if you was going to Celebrity Big Brother, Paul, I'd phone Pete Burns and want him back in.
Paul sharing a house with Pete Burns would be TV gold.
Do you know what? Do you want to see what that would probably be like? I'll probably be in the corner saying, "Never leave the day room. Never leave the day room. I'm never gonna shower again."
Pete Burns, Jackie Stallone.
Oh, this will be a dream house.
My fucking nightmare house. The creature from the Black Lagoon and the fucking blonde-haired goon. I'll probably end up killing myself. You just see me in the shower hanging by the shower head.
Yeah, one of the things I wanted to talk about, just on this one, was one of the themes of those first early 2 evictions in between, was this sort of antagonism between the twins and Frankie Kokoza. The twins really didn't take to Frankie as a character, and I sort of enjoyed that sort of war between the two. And I sort of enjoyed how the two got into a bit of a bickering match between one another. And I love the twins' remark where they said something like, "Calm yourself down, Bieber."
You reacted that badly. Oh my god.
And that was the first moment for me when the twins really began to stand out as great villain characters.
He's a pathetic person.
I wasn't the biggest Frankie fan, I'll have to admit, but
Oh, we're talking about Pillhead now.
yes, we're talking about Pillhead, Paul.
Yay!
And just for the record, if you hear any crunching, it's because we have pizza.
Yeah, pizza. But still,
Pizza.
he was on X Factor. He was still a bit of a bell end because he basically ruined the fact that if you do something outside that house that you're currently in, Big Brother or non, you will get hounded by the paparazzi.
Yeah, but the one thing I found to think about Frankie was that Frankie was quite regrettable about his behaviour. Frankie didn't enjoy being, in my opinion, Frankie didn't enjoy being judged on as this coke addict fiend who ruined a television show. I always remember one of the first things he said in one of his first diary entries. He was asked, "What do the other housemates think of you?" And he said, "They probably think I'm a little shit."
No, little Frankie. No. We think you're a fucking little shit.
That is the opinion of Paul Barron and not the opinion of Karl Bainbridge.
This message is endorsed by Paul Barron.
And
Awesome.
Chili.
Yeah. But yeah, one of the things you mentioned, and it sort of came up during that time, was between the second and third evictions, around this sort of time, one of the things that really became clear to the audience was the behaviour of Denise. And am I the only one who noted that all this extreme behaviour from Denise happened when the alcohol was involved?
Yes.
And
she's even said that before she went in that she was a bit of a happy alcoholic and that she liked her booze.
then one of the questions I ask is, should Denise have been on there when they knew they had a drinking problem?
Oh God.
Well, they do, I hope they still do, the psychology tests and stuff before put them in the house, and if she seemed alright, then she was allowed to go in. So maybe she, promised to kick the habit, but not gone through with it.
But Michael Madsen was one of the first people to note during that series of Denise's problems. I think Denise had a real drinking problem, and I know you like to paint Denise as this joyful drunk. I think Denise had a really nasty side when the alcohol was involved.
When she got her baps out, yeah.
Yes, that's another part of that nasty side which we don't want to bring up. But
It's like
We do
saddlebags.
for Paul.
what's that?
We do for Paul. Paul, imagine it.
Stop trying to wind up Paul, Joe.
Oh, it's like Newton's thing.
Cradle.
Paul's doing the swinging balls thing. We'll leave it there. But yeah, Denise, I just felt that there was a lot of bad aspects to Denise, which production really tried to hide. And I don't know. I just didn't enjoy that personally. Denise's behaviour on the show, and I just wish the people.
But again, we're going to, what you do. What you do is basically constantly filming you 24/7, 24/7, 65 days sort of rule, making sure that if you start spewing anything personal or anything of that part, we will basically drag your name across the mud.
But the point is that Denise's aspects were painted in the show as being those of a flawed woman struggling with a dream.
Yeah.
When really it should have been this awful woman who can't handle herself and should know better. That's the way I looked at it.
Fair enough. So basically what you see, what she sees and what the reality sees.
Well, what the public see, what I see. And as we know, I'm always right.
Yes. because apparently, behold, it is basically the Messiah. But really, you're not the Messiah, you're just a naughty little boy.
Yes.
Right, anywho.
Yes, let's talk about the Michael versus Georgia eviction. And Paul's got this joyful look on his face because this gives us an excuse to talk about Michael Madsen.
Right.
And as we know from when he talked about Adam, once Paul finds a housemate he loves, he can't stop talking about them.
Right. Imagine it, right? You're basically waking up to GMTV and you see Mike, and then you see all your favourite action stars on there. Chuck Norris. I don't know if this actually happens, but this is my fantasy, so fuck you. Deadpool, and it's just basically awesomeness on one sofa.
But are you judging Michael Madsen's awesomeness based on him previous to the show, as we mentioned, or because of what he was as a housemate?
A mixture of both, actually, because he was actually not that bad of a housemate.
I thought Michael was a very good housemate. He was very quick-witted. One of the things I loved about Michael in the show was Michael always seemed to take the role of a narrator. It was always Michael who we always seemed to get the opinion of on the house dynamics. But what was great about it was that when you heard Michael Madsen talking, you sort of got the impression it was sort of like a cross between I'm totally losing my mind and where the hell am I?
So basically the premise of Sin City, basically. you've got the narrative, it's basically the narrator of Sin City. Every time Michael Madsen talks, he just walks up to a camera. And thus, I start to think to myself, where the hell am I? And what did I just write?
That's it.
Line?
That's absolutely it. You've got that absolutely spot on. And another surreal Michael Madsen moment. Nobody ever mentions it. I don't think this actually made the show. I might have seen it a bit on the side. But I remember seeing when Michael Madsen woke up, and I think he was wearing a onesie of some kind, and just the surreal looks everyone was giving him, like, what the hell are you wearing?
Oh man.
What? What's wrong with it? Please don't tell me your kids see you like that. Oh, they see me like that all the time.
Please say that onesie is basically a big... What was the onesie? Please.
I think Tiger seems to ring a bell.
So basically he's going to do the same thing as Horatio from CSI. Looks like the tiger's out the bag. Yeah!
You were saying, Joe?
Wearing someone else's clothes, though, isn't it?
What's that?
Wearing someone else's clothes, isn't it?
I think it might have been someone else's, but Michael Madsen in the onesie has to be one of the most surreal things I ever saw on the show.
It just reminds me, it sort of reminds me of Where the Wild Thing's At. Hey little kid, welcome to the land of make-believe. Where's the bar?
But as mentioned, it was Michael versus Georgia that week, and thankfully, the worries that most people had about the potential for a vote to evict working against Michael didn't pay off, and it was Georgia who went there. Now, I just want your general views on Georgia. We mentioned the Kirk and Georgia attempted showmans. What did you think of her apart from that? Do you think there was much more to her as a character, or do you think she sort of died out a bit?
Sort of died a bit. Sort of like a firework, sort of fizzled and then... But, I think it would have been... I think if you gave her a little bit more time, she'd probably come into her own character, because once you go in the Big Brother house, it is what I always say, it's an experience, right? You always have this experience of going in there as a very, very, very flat character, but coming out a really, really built up character.
Yes, certainly. I have to agree with you there. And I think Georgia had the potential for that. I think Georgia.
But no, we have Barbie doll walking out the front of the steps. Ha ha.
I think if Georgia had stayed around a little bit longer, he may have been somebody who benefited from the public getting behind them and becoming someone to support. But I'll put the question to Joe. What was your view on Georgia? Do you think Georgia had the potential to maybe develop a bit more as a character if she'd stayed longer?
She did, yeah, but they just didn't give her enough time to, develop and really. It's like what was the name? Tree and that last.
Which class was that?
Tree.
Yes, Shri Nareen.
Nareen, yeah, it was like her. She just didn't have long enough to develop and come out of her shell enough.
Although to be fair though, there would have been absolutely no justice had Georgia have stayed over Michael Madsen.
Yeah.
Yes, because Channel 5 would probably have all the Quentin Tarantino's fans and end up burning the entire place down.
Can I just ask, at that point, how was the relationship between Michael and Denise?
I think it was okay at that sort of point, but Michael began to get wary. He was the real one who began to be aware of Denise's drinking problems, and I think that really began to become more negative after this eviction. I think.
Yeah, 'cause it was the love-hate.
A love-hate relationship, but a good, entertaining one though. You can't deny that Michael versus Denise, was good for entertainment.
Yeah, it was.
I just got the feeling, as I mentioned before, that the production sort of seemed to get the wrong side of it though. I think that what they should have done was paint Michael as being in the right over Denise's drinking problems, but rather they turned Michael into this sort of nagging figure who was being unnecessarily harsh to this brave, noble woman. But that's how it was painted to me.
So this is why Michael Madsen's awesome, because he can see that there's a problem going on.
Who are you going to call?
Michael Madsen, motherfucker.
Yeah. But after George's eviction, almost immediately after George's eviction, Channel 4 pulled one of their favourite twists. They always seem to pull this twist every one of their series, which is face-to-face nominations. Yeah, Joe knew exactly what I was saying there. Now, most of the time, face-to-face nominations gets hyped up incredibly madly and never delivers. This is probably the only time in the Channel 5 series where it worked. And it worked because we ended up getting that mass eviction, which arguably helped change the face of the Channel 5's Big Brother. Because many people assumed that this eviction would be a single person eviction, and of course the two people who received the most votes were Michael and the twins. And the idea of a Michael versus the twins eviction at this point arguably could have killed the show. But Channel 5, and this is one thing I will thank Channel 5 and Endemol for, switched the eviction and made it a double, which in turn made everybody who got one single nomination, which was everybody except Gareth, and put them up for the public vote. It was essentially an all-up vote to save, and it gave us one of the best nights of the series.
As in other words, it's a cluster vote.
Yes, and I love votes like that. I love unpredictable votes because that's when the best entertainment comes. And of course, what happened in the first of those two evictions, we ended up losing Kirk Norcross. Now, I want to discuss Kirk's eviction in this section. Now, Paul has been very vocal, as mentioned earlier, about his opinion of The Only Way is Essex. Now, my question that I want to ask is, was Kirk being evicted against pretty much every other housemate in the house in a vote to save, the public symbolically saying to the show, no more Towie? And I put that to Joe.
Well, I can't stand Towie, so yeah.
But one of the things I'm trying to say though is that in the first two Channel 5 series, they went out of their way to try and get a Towie contestant. They heavily hyped Amy's appearance in CBB9, and she didn't deliver, ended up finishing 4th. Then they hyped up Kirk's appearance, and he ended up being evicted over pretty much everybody in a vote to save. And since then, they haven't even bothered trying to put a Towie contestant in.
And by fucking Odin's beard, that was a good move.
Shut up.
But that certainly has to be a good thing though, that Channel 5 from this point on stopped being Towie and tried to develop its own entity. Arguably because this Kirk's eviction was the sign that sign to the producers the public were buying into it.
Yes, even though they're trying to do it because of the fact that the name tags.
You have to bring up the name tags every episode.
It is basic. They are basically trying to be the only way is Big Brother with the name tags. Get rid of the name tags, and you've got me silenced. You heard me, Channel 5. You get rid of the name tags, you've silenced the Baron.
You need to calm down, Paul. It's not good for your blood pressure.
I don't have a blood pressure. You have a blood pressure.
But yes, Kirk's eviction. Moving away from that, I'll tell you off after the recording.
Mm-hmm.
Going on from that, Kirk's eviction was certainly one of the best moments, mainly because he wasn't expecting it. If you get a chance, look up Kirk's eviction reaction on Google, and his face absolutely drops when he realises he's going out. He wasn't expecting it, and neither was the second person who got evicted that week, Natalie Cassidy. Now, Natalie Cassidy wasn't a favourite of mine, and I think she, like Kirk, was somebody who really overestimated how popular she actually was.
I always think that she's basically a lost special child.
That's an awful thing to say. That is an awful thing to say, Paul.
But true that, you know.
I thought she was a bit plain doing it.
She wasn't a very interesting character in there, and especially when she had the opening night twist, the traditional microphone in an ear task they always seem to do. Considering that, she should have been a lot more interesting and just died away after that.
It's just
yeah.
But she just makes me feel like, you know, it's the Green Party in the House of Parliament. Just there's the Tories, there's the Labour, there's the Dems, and then there's the Green Party, which is basically the small little chair in the back row.
Well, not there just wasn't enough redeeming qualities about Natalie, I don't think. I think that she sort of sat back and thought to herself, because I'm also popular, because I was Sonia in EastEnders, that I'm going to be beloved. And the fact was, she didn't do enough, and she wasn't popular enough. And I think, and that showed by her being evicted against everybody but Kirk Norcross.
Yeah.
Just own it now. Clean out the bins.
But I love the reactions that Natalie gave. Natalie, if you ever watched Bit on the Side in the weeks afterwards, was so bitter about her eviction. She really thought to herself that she was going to win, and the excuses she made for people not voting for her were hilarious. The one I loved was, oh, they didn't vote for me. They didn't vote to save me because everyone voted was a vote to evict. But she just couldn't. It was the same when she was on Strictly Come Dancing. She just couldn't handle that the public don't think that she's this mega superstar.
She was on Strictly Come Dancing as well.
She was on Strictly Come Dancing. Every EastEnders actor's been on Strictly Come Dancing, Paul.
And how well did they do?
I don't think she did that well. But
so basically,
for the same reason,
she's practically lame.
But yeah, she went on the show, didn't do well, didn't have the fan base, and she couldn't handle it. And it was the same thing that was in Big Brother.
So basically, wop wop.
And what was great though was that the way they read out the nominations that week, they left it so that it was between Michael and Natalie for the second person who was going to go. And everyone in the house was thinking, oh, Michael's a goner here. And then he outs Natalie, and the house is shocked, and Natalie's shocked. And again, another fantastic moment. And the question I want to ask from this is, was this fantastic moment the coming of age of Channel 5's Big Brother? Because it was, in my eyes, this moment that made people sit up and say, hang on a minute, this isn't that bad of a show. Would you agree with that, Joe?
Yeah, I do agree with that, because it was like, and I'm going to admit this and I'm going to regret it, it was like the Trey eviction. Brilliant. I did cry at that.
Kat's eviction is one of the best Big Brother moments ever. We'll come to that when we discuss Big Brother 9, but I absolutely love that.
I cried at that and I'm so bad.
Did you literally cry tears?
Yes.
What'd she actually do anyway?
She cried. She cried. I cried. Everyone cried.
It was like, you know, in those post-apocalyptic novels where you have like a Big Brother sort of show, but there's a firing squad outside. It was like that. It was like they were announcing she was going to be sent to the firing squad.
It's like, yeah.
Why,
It's like,
why can't that just be happening with tomatoes instead of that? Oh my god, tomato plastic.
But good moment. But we'll get back onto track.
Right.
And in my eyes, that was the making of Channel 5's Big Brother. Now another great moment I want to talk about was one that happened shortly afterwards, which was the Japanese task.
Oh god.
yes.
Where the house participated in what they thought was the Japanese chat show. What was the name of it? What was that?
Super chat.
Super chat. I remember that.
Oh god.
Very funny moment. Very entertaining. Good light-hearted stuff. One of the things that Channel 5 I do think do well, I think Channel 5 do have a fun factor with their Big Brother. Maybe they're a bit too cheesy for my liking, but I think Super Chats definitely balance the right lines, I think.
Why when I automatically hear super chat, it's going to be so over the top that it's going to make an episode of Helsing look like looks like a kid show.
When it's a Mickey take of a Japanese game show, of course it's going to be over the top.
Yeah, have you actually seen those Japanese? I've seen someone who had to answer questions to avoid getting their head shoved up someone's own arse. I'm not joking. This happens.
Now each of them had to participate in their own little mini task as part of the show. Now if I remember correctly, I think it was Gareth. Was it Gareth who had to dress up as a piece of sushi?
Yes, that's right.
And it was Carissa and Christina who had to put their feet into a tub full of eels.
Pedicure, yes.
A pedicure with eels, yes.
Oh my god.
Did anyone think that was a bit of bias though? That it was the twins who got the nasty task that made them look like cowards, and Gareth got the nice, fun, silly task.
Well, to tell you, I'm going to say this now. They should have used squid. What eels?
Sushi or something.
What was that?
Was it Denise that made eat hot sushi or something?
I think so. I seem to remember that. All I remember from Denise from that was that she flashed the bra again.
Yeah. I was just thinking.
Kawaii.
Banzai.
Oh, please don't, Karl. You'll scar me for life.
Oh, we're still. Tsunami!
Yes, but yes, very fun task, and I applaud Channel 5. They do get that sort of stuff right. But one of the best moments, and one of the most infamous moments of the series, was something that Channel 5 couldn't manufacture. And this is the part where we pretty much set up the battle royal between myself and Joe here. Pantsgate. Ding 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 ding.
Pantsgate.
Now, if you need reminding about Pantsgate, shame on you if you do, because it was the big moment of the series. The girls were celebrating from a party where they got some alcohol and got some tunes to drink to. And during a dancing of Girls Just Want to Have Fun, ironic considering what happens, Denise pulls down, I think it was Christina's trousers.
Yes.
And Christina takes it very badly over what Denise did. Now, I'll put this to Paul since he's a neutral on this, he's going to have a neutral opinion. What was your view on Pantsgate? Who do you think was in the wrong?
The one who pulled down the trousers at the present moment.
Denise.
Oh.
But still, it's not on. You're drunk. You get your kegs. Pull down your pants. Pull down your legs. You're gonna be going commando.
Personally, I take the side of Paul there. I think that whilst the twins overreacted about the incident, and I will give Joe that because I think that's something he's going to bring up. The twins did overreact. One of the things I will say though, is that Denise's action to instigate the conflict in itself was out of line. I think.
Free hit combo.
May I start?
Yes, you can start.
A, it wasn't even all the way down. It was like a quarter of the way down. B, she was wearing knickers.
It was intent. It was intent. It was done to try and embarrass the twins, I think.
Combo breaker.
Oh.
This isn't Street Fighter. Please stop.
Oh. Not this new the
There was
You were saying, Joe?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't deny the twins behaved poorly. The overreaction afterwards was
they did,
bad,
yeah.
and that was what's done. But the intent of Denise was wrong, and there was a lot of that from Denise. I felt Denise would seem to instigate these dramas and these conflicts, and would then cry to the diary room to try and paint herself as a victim.
Back to Michael.
She did cry to Michael, yeah. One of the things I found interesting about Spitgate, though, not Spitgate, I'm talking about the wrong series, about Pantsgate, was that even for a series that happens, even for an incident, we all seem to have these season-changing incidences. But Pantsgate's the one that happened latest. And even despite that, it still seemed to change the context of the show that we're seeing in. Because the twins went from Panto love to hate in the eyes of the casuals into full-on villains, unfortunately. Denise ended up getting this major sympathy vote which helped to carry her to the end. Gareth, through taking this neutral side, came across as spineless and I think killed his chances of winning in the process.
Really?
I think so. I think Gareth was a real contender, but the fact he came across as so spineless hindered him, I think. But strangely of all, and Paul will hate this, Frankie Kokoza, by taking a defensive side of Denise and showing his true colours, ended up moving from anonymous also van to really strong contender to win.
I can really say that my estimations really dropped with Nicola.
But I think Nicola was justified though. I think Nicola, she'd been in that business. She saw the sign of the twins, I think.
Yeah, but like I know they overreacted, and then that made Nicola really overreact.
Nicola did overreact, yeah, but
involved.
I think she was justified to get involved though.
Yeah, and
by not getting
backfired, and then she wanted to leave. She went crying off to the top of the stairs or whatever.
I could sort of say that, but for me, Pantsgate was certainly one of those great Big Brother moments. That's one that people are going to remember. I think. I hope they remember it because it was a series changer, and it was fantastic television, and it didn't need any fancy incidental music. It didn't need towiness. It was just natural raw emotion that made that work.
And that's what Big Brother is all about.
Yes.
Listen to thy words,
Yes.
Channel 5, or else you can suck mine testicles.
Paul, you don't need to attack Channel 5 on every single random rant.
They constantly fuel the need to probe their noses in other people's business. They deserve it.
You're not getting your own TV show, now give up.
Damn it!
I also like that it was just Michael's like impartialness towards anyone. He didn't like anyone at that point, so he was just keeping it.
To be honest, I think by that point, Manson just wanted the whole thing over, and he was just like, "Get me out of here, please."
Yeah, he basically walked up to the camera, all Detective Noir, and went, "Fuck it."
If Manson could go to the camera and say, "Kill me," he would have. But now we come to the double eviction. They had to clear it from 7 to 5 for the finale, which meant another all up vote to save, and unfortunately Nicola was the one to go in that eviction. Now I know you're not the biggest lover of Nicola, but I actually think she was quite underrated as a villain character, and I think that maybe had the twins not have been there, because the twins and Nicola were very similar sort of personalities, but I think the twins overshadowed her in that context.
Yeah.
Do you think maybe in another series, with maybe a less hyped up group of housemates, Nicola might have taken a villain of the series role? And I'll put that to you, Joe.
Yeah, I think she would have, especially in the one with Jodie and Pete and
they didn't need one for that. That was a fantastic series. Plus that had George Galloway.
Yeah, I think she would have maybe got further on that series than she did on this one though.
Yeah. I like Nicola on the whole. I mean, I know you're supposed to hate her because she's a villain, but for me it's all about entertainment, and Nicola brought that.
As I say, she was a bit bland, a bit bland. It was her, Natalie, and Georgia. They were just like bland and just sat around talking all day, and that.
So for me, the blandest housemate was the one who came after, which one that came ahead of in the eviction, Romeo. I mean, Romeo is one of the best examples for me of nice but dull. He's a lovely bloke to speak to. He came across very nice on the show, but I just want someone who was maybe a bit more exciting. And Romeo just for me wasn't that. He was a gentleman, but he wasn't good telly.
Yeah.
He wasn't so solid then. Hey!
In saying that though, he was a hell of a lot better than what Harvey was in Big Brother 10.
Yeah, definitely.
Not a good housemate. But the thing I want to know is, how did Romeo, being such an under the radar character, end up surviving so many evictions?
Yeah, I know, he was a bit, but it's like, it's got lucky, didn't he, really?
I think it was just that general pleasantness that pulled him through. I mean, DS, there was a good, strong Romeo fan base on Digital Spy at that point. Mainly just because he was just a nice bloke.
Indeed.
But I don't think he would have deserved a place in the finale. And I actually think the 5 that we got were fantastic, made a fantastic threesome. Unfortunately though, I think the boot order of that finale was maybe on the rock. Now, speaking of the finale, I want your opinion, Paul. What did you think of it on the whole as a show?
It had a diverse cast. It had some high moments and some down moments, and some revolutionary moments, but unfortunately, Channel 5 won't see that, considering the fact that they're all a bunch of monkeys, but still, I thought it was a good show. I thought it was a good series.
I'm talking about the actual finale though.
Oh,
the finale night.
No, not spectacular, but, it was good. It was good.
Now I'll put that question to you then, Joe. What did you think of finale night? What was on the whole?
Well, basically the wrong person won. I think Gareth should have won it.
I think we'll discuss Gareth when we get to him, but I just think Gareth was a bit too MORP for me, middle of the road, positive. I think you needed that little extra something to really be a strong contender to win, and I don't think Gareth had that.
Well, I think though what he said is true. He was better than Denise and definitely better than Frankie.
But what I want from a show though is I want the stronger personalities to come through. I think by being that sort of middle of the road, not taking any sides, you're not really exciting the viewer. For me, I'm one of those people who puts entertainment first on a show like this, and I don't think Gareth was as entertaining as some of the other finalists.
Wait a minute, Gareth won the series?
No, he didn't. He only finished third. Joe thought that he didn't deserve to win. Personally, if I had my way, and we'll have to discuss them in detail, it would be the twins. Simply because over the course of the series, the twins brought the most to the show.
No, they didn't.
Who caused the most arguments? Who were the major villains? Who clashed with Frankie Kokoza? Who clashed with Denise Wells? Who brought about Pantsgate? It was the twins.
Alright. In the same way, Denise did the same amount of stuff, so
Denise
did between Denise and the twins.
Oh, and I totally agree. And I know there were a lot of, and I totally agree with that. And I know a lot of people personally didn't agree with Denise's behaviour, but I do agree with you that I felt that if the twins didn't win, Denise should have. That's my personal opinion. Now, just going back to the twins, on the whole, I know you don't dislike them as people, and I can understand that. As characters who brought something to the show, what was your view?
Fake.
And why do you think that?
Because they're just so, American, playgirl, blonde, playful things, and it's just annoying, fake, and just really crap.
The thing is though, if they were fake, then surely they should have put on this really I'm so lovely, I'm so happy personality to try and con the public into getting them to vote to win. Arguably by playing villains, they were being at the most natural.
Well, they did at the start. They were all nice at the start, weren't they? They weren't like the villains at the start. Denise and Michael and Frankie brought that out of them. Especially like Frankie when they did that task with the dating.
I remember that, yeah. But I just thought the twins were great villainous fun. And I think that what you need on the show, more than anything, is a good villain. And they were fantastic villains. But unfortunately, the public only voted them into 5th place. The fact that they made the final in itself was fantastic. They should have deserved better though than first out in the finale, in my eyes. And then the next one out was Michael Madsen, 4th place. Now, did anyone find that a little bit surprising that considering he went in as one of the star names of the series, Michael only seemed to finish in an anonymous 4th?
Well,
we'll let you talk to you, Paul.
Well, at least it's high. At least he didn't go out.
He made the finale, yeah, I'll give you that. Making the finale is fantastic.
He didn't actually go out early, which is a good thing, because, let's face it, he's Michael motherfucking Madsen. The man who Quentin Tarantino picked to do the Grindhouse. One of the main villains from Kill Bill.
Do you think that Michael did enough overall in the show to deserve winning?
Kind of.
He sort of got, as I mentioned before, he sort of got painted as the villain in the whole Michael versus Denise feud, when maybe I felt he didn't deserve to.
That's the thing with production. They just paint the villain.
And you brought me onto a really good point there, actually.
Yeah.
Which is, did anyone find it ironic that the two they painted as the main, as sort of like villainous figures in the show, were Carissa and Christina, and Michael Madsen to an extent, and the bit on the side had this real anti-American resentment.
Like it's a short, bald guy pointing the finger and saying, "Oh look, he's a bad man! No, he's a bad man! No, he's a bad man!"
It's supposed to be a British establishment, really. So.
But in my eyes, it doesn't matter on the nationality of the housemate. I just want the best characters, and I felt that Michael and the twins were great characters, and I just didn't like this that they seemed to bring up nationality on a show like this. I thought Big Brother was supposed to be this open-minded show, which showed these diverse personalities and opened up to them.
Again,
and yet we have its spin-off show telling us all these Americans are evil. I just didn't like that. I mean, especially when you think that the behaviour of some of the British contestants was even worse.
I have a couple of people who are from who I know who are from America, and they're the nicest people you could ever meet. Well, some of them.
Exactly. And
online, it's a different matter, but they're absolutely canny as.
Exactly. And
mind you, for the last time, I don't know the Queen.
We don't know the Queen. We're not all posh, and we don't go around saying goodbye.
But also, if you do notice my American accent. I am not from America. I just watched a lot of Cartoon Network when I was a kid.
Yes. The end.
Thank
now,
you.
One of the but as I mentioned before, they seem to paint this idea of Americans are rubbish, all American housemates are rubbish. If you remember, some of the best celebrity housemates ever have been the Americans. Carissa and Christina, Michael Madsen, Stephen Baldwin, who I thought was absolutely fantastic, Coolio, Dirk Benedict, Jackie Stallone was one of them. Like, all great housemates, all American.
Even though she looks like one of those, plastic figures that you've just blowtorched into a fine mushy puddle.
Even in spite of that, Paul.
Fair enough.
Even in spite of that, I thought she was great. They just seem to focus so much on this we hate the Americans, without appreciating the fact that they are pretty much the star characters of the season.
It's just, I wish people would stop, summing up everyone and everyone because of the fact they're from some different country, and just get on with it. Be like Xbox Live, except without the swearing and all the negative stuff. But enjoy the game wherever the hell you're from.
Agreed. Enjoy the game, enjoy the show. And we did enjoy the show. Maybe so on the whole, until that last moment where it's Frankie versus Denise and Brian announces the winner, Denise Welch.
Yay!
Now, on the whole, between the two, who do you think should have been the winner, Joe? Between Frankie and Denise?
It's a hard one. Well, probably Frankie. He was more like entertaining. He wasn't like Denise was entertaining, but it was like a comedy entertaining, like the relationship between her and Michael, the comedy clowns. Frankie was more like he was just more funny.
But for me, Frankie only really emerged with Panskate, and I don't think that Frankie before then had done enough to deserve to be
a still pillhead.
No, I don't think that. I don't think Frankie would have been a justified winner had he have won, because I think that over the course of the series he didn't provide as much entertainment. And as much as I don't personally agree with Denise on what she did in the house, I think the fact that she was a bigger personality than Frankie, I would have preferred for her to win between the two. And I do agree with that. And I know the Digital Spy, on the whole, absolutely hated the fact that Denise won. In fact, it was fun being on Digital Spy just to see everyone kicking off about it.
I would agree with you there, because if I know my way, if you supply the newsreader with a reliable source of news, they will reward you effortlessly, and that's what Denise done.
Exactly, and I agree with that. I think that Denise was what was, along with the twins, in my eyes, the pecking order of importance in that series was the twins, Denise, Madsen.
That's it.
And if the twins couldn't win, it should have been Denise, and I'm glad it was Denise in that context. So one of the questions I want to put to you, Joe, and to you, Paul, was, where does Denise rank in terms of your celebrity winners? We'll put Paul first.
I would have put her as a very strong, but sort of very weak at the same time.
The perfect sound of somebody who doesn't truly know. We'll go to you then, Joe. Your view on Denise, if you had to rank her as a celebrity winner.
I'm not actually finished.
I'd probably give her like 8 out of 10. She's not the best, but she's not the worst.
That's fair. I can say that. She's up there based on entertainment value. On how much I actually like her on the whole, not one of my favourites. But on entertainment value alone, I do think she deserved it. Even if I do feel that production went out the way to try and sell Denise as being this flawed princess, as it were.
Mm.
And I think she sort of tainted herself when she went out of the house, because all these things came to the forefront. But on the whole, lads, where do you think Celebrity Big Brother 10, not Celebrity Big Brother 10, I apologise, Celebrity Big Brother 9 rate in terms of the celebrity series? Is it the best one ever?
I'd say...
I would give it a strong 9.
Yeah,
I would give it a very strong 9, because it showed a lot of character from a lot of not well known and a lot of well known people, and people that they found in a local tabloid somewhere. You know who I'm talking about.
Yes.
So I would give it a strong 9.
A strong 9. And what about you, Joe?
I agree, strong 9.
Is it the best ever?
No.
Not particularly.
Maybe.
But there are.
It's touch and go between that and Celebrity Big Brother 4.
Mm.
Yeah.
Definitely give you that. But it's been absolutely fantastic talking about it. Very enjoyable. And I enjoyed that conflict between me and Joe over Panskate.
Yeah. I did.
You know what we didn't talk about?
What didn't we talk about?
Task with the teddy bear race or something.
Oh, the teddy bear race. The one they ripped off of Big Brother America.
That was one of my favourite tasks of the series, that one.
What, the Frankie Pellhead sort of fever dream are you both talking about?
I'll tell you after the show.
Right.
But unfortunately, that is all we've got time for the show. Yes, 1 hour and 30 minutes talking about Celebrity Big Brother 9, which I'm sure was a joy for everybody. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, that's unfortunately all we got time for to speak about Celebrity Big Brother 9. We haven't decided yet which series we'll be talking about. All we know is it will either be the currently broadcasting Celebrity Big Brother 11, or it will be Big Brother 12, or as we like to call it on Digital Spy, the Aaron Allard Morgan Show.
That sounds like something that Omar Jihad would probably just made up. I'm cutting my arm, and just say it is not good. Or something like that.
Something like that, yes. But once again, ladies and gentlemen, I have to say thank you very much for joining us. I hope Paul hasn't scared you away with some of his ranting today.
I apologise for the ranting, even though I have been a bit of a low stretch, and this is basically therapy for me.
I blame the alcohol.
I don't blame the. You blame the alcohol.
Yeah.
Paul, don't get drunk and flash your tits.
Yes, our life lesson. Don't get drunk and don't flash your boobs.
Godzilla!
But on that note, we do have to end. Thank you very much for listening. I've been Karl Bainbridge. That's been Joseph Tilley.
And I've been Paul Barron. I hope that if you do get in contact with us,
Yes, please contact us on our Twitter feed. Contact us on the box below to send your comments on YouTube, on Digital Spy. This is Big Brother. Survivor Sucks. Please contact us. We really appreciate all your letters.
All the views we're getting, and if you could, if you might hear your comment or message actually read out on the show.
Yes. So please send your messages in. We've enjoyed making this show. I hope you've enjoyed listening to this. Until next time, ta-ra very much, everyone. Bye-bye.
Ta-bye.
Thanks for this big archive.